I hear in the phrase, "Take that 2020," a challenge to us all to recognize and reckon with our failures with respect to racial and economic equity. In 2020, millions of us, millions of Americans, including many in Arlington, took to the streets to demand that we do better. We must and we will. In 2021, our challenge will be to see these initiatives through with determination to rise to a new status quo, a status quo that creates systemic equity on the work we started in 2020 and the other priorities I've identified.
Now, one way we are growing stronger is by walking toward racial justice and equity. Well before our nation reckoned with state and civilian violence against non-combative African Americans, our community began the work of confronting systemic racism by starting the process of building structural equity. We should and we must be held accountable for building upon the work of normalizing the concepts of race and equity and deepening our analyses of those who benefit and those who are burdened by our actions. Let's continue in the year ahead to keep one another safe and to understand our collective agency in tackling the work and meeting the challenges that lie ahead.
And in 2021, I plan to continue to do whatever I can to support our efforts to end systemic racism and to continue to build a more resilient Arlington. We really cannot afford to fight among ourselves if we're going to deal effectively with these big issues.
We know that nationally, Black and Latino communities have higher exposure to air pollution and to environmental toxins. They bear greater risks for climate-induced heat waves and flooding. We talked so much during 2020 about racial justice and about how there actually are no race-neutral policies. So in 2021, we should be pushing ourselves in environmental policy as well as in housing, energy policy, and so many other areas to see what we can do to actively undo these racial disparities that do persist here in Arlington too.
At last but never least, I will continue to focus on working with you to digest the lessons of our extensive work on racial equity and transform them into actionable steps forward. From reevaluating our policing practices to making public participation accessible at all levels. These conversations will indeed continue in 2021, and I look forward to the progress we will make together.